Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to do a bit of a debrief of the conversation that I had with Mr. ALG and Kate the 7th way back a couple of days ago regarding ZZZ, its endgame, the path ahead, and perhaps most importantly of all, ways that we could fix the game. You kind of see this feedback list over here. This is the result of multiple hours of effort. Oh, I forgot to mention Nyx as well. Sorry, it's just Nyx is not an official content creator, more of like an expert advisor. So we kind of, you know, there's not like a guy you can like at for YouTube and stuff like that. But he was there as well, provided great takes. This was the end result of our breakdown, right? This was the end result of our long hours spent on discussion. We came up with a list of actionable changes regarding the game. Many would say it was a productive conversation. Many would say we got a lot done. We really listened to the concerns of the player base. We really contributed a lot to the community. That's what most would say. But then you look at this dislike ratio. Little bit interesting when all we do is talk about ways to improve or fix the game for 2 hours. Dislike ratio is looking a little crazy. And that's 631 comments on an 8.8K view live stream. That's a lot of comments, especially for the number of views. Let's start reading some of these out, sorting by the top comments. This is hard to watch or listen. It's obvious one of them is trying to make the others agree on a severely negative statement, and others agree sheepishly because they let the one lead the conversation alone. The others try to bring up nuance, but their voice muted because they're forced to agree on wild statements. It's so fun to see all the new comments being Saint defenders. Men, average. I always have a lot of respect for you and your content, but honestly, I don't think giving Saint a platform to discuss themes around ZZZ, and in this case, meta talk, is the best idea. Did you notice the amount of times you had awkward silence because nobody knew how to react to his attempts to start drama? No, this is what it's called having a podcast with people that are introverts. I genuinely do think a good number of these guys are actually self-admitted introverts, and I happen to be one of the guys that knows how to fill in a silence when there's a lull in the discussion to keep the dialogue flowing in something like a podcast. These guys, you can clearly see, are creating literal headcanons where like now, like I bullied the creators into being quiet, and like I bullied them into being sheepish by just dominating the discussion when the discussion's about ZZZ's meta and I quit the game. And so I'm asking the guys who are experts on clarification of certain details and mechanics and how they work. But they're going ahead and saying that I'm the one leading the podcast when I'm literally obtaining information to help fucking define what the issue is from some of the best players in the game. These guys are literally creating fan fiction for what occurred on this call. And one thing you'll notice going around this comment section is that nobody is talking about the points. Nobody's talking about the issues. Nobody's talking about the fixes. All they're talking about is the fact that I'm there. Ladies and gentlemen, I am officially, probably has been for a while, I am ZZZ's boogeyman. I am the Voldemort. I am he who must not be named. Because every single time these individuals are at the point where they'll spread misinfo, they'll make things up, and most importantly, they'll start brigading CCs who interact with me. When they'll tell you, Saint's actually a pretty cool guy in most regards. Otherwise, I feel like they wouldn't talk to me on a pretty semi-regular basis. That's what I would assume. Otherwise, we wouldn't have DMs sent to each other multiple times a week. This whole comment section showed me how pathetic the ZZZ community is. Literally trying to tell CCs how to do their job instead of just moving on and finding someone else to listen to. Your lives are so bland that losing one creator is like losing a sibling. I'd say go seek mental help. But unfortunately, you probably already had to hear that multiple times a day from any close family you have left, to the point where you ignore it. I'd also wish you good luck, but y'all wouldn't know what to do with it. How is this writing so peak? Oh my god. I took mental damage from that one, and I know it's not directed at me. Holy shit. That was fucking insane. Why Saint of all people? There's so many good ZZZCCs out there, but why Saint? Seems like everyone else is saying what I wanted to say. Bringing Saint to stoke the drama flames is just tone deaf. What's the point of inviting Saint? These comments are uniting about the clown being the last thing you should have had a conversation with. Lamau, what happened, ALG? Yikes! The entire stream was a waste of breath from every person who spoke. That is one of the craziest insults you could give to every other person on the call. These guys are willing to literally talk shit, paint their CCs as like passive bums who are easy to bully, easy to influence, right? Saying that they're stupid for getting on call. They're literally willing to drag down their CC's reputation just for an opportunity to take a shot at me. You read any of the comments in here, none of them are talking about anything in the live stream. It's either A, insulting me, B, insulting their own CCs for talking to me, C, painting their CCs as like either illiterate, stupid, or pussies because they talk to me, or D, demanding that no more further conversation is had with me or they're gonna brigade his channel and unsub. All I do on that call is try to be somebody understanding the situation from some of the best players and some of the best guide makers in the game to figure out why people are upset, what's wrong with the game, and how to fix it so that people can send this on feedback forums, get it over to Hoyoverse, and then pray for changes. Who knows if they'll give them, right? Everyone's skeptical about it. But at least this is an effort. And what these individuals have decided to do is see people trying to put in the effort to make the game better for them, and all they do is talk shit about all the people just trying to help them. Good lord. This has to be one of the most exposed comment sections I've ever seen in the history of my life. And this is the thing. ALG, I think, isn't really impacted by all of this because he's an adult. ALG has a kid, right? I think he's above all of this. But in other situations, the other CC who was streaming this had to turn off their comment section because they didn't want the discourse. They didn't want to deal with the dialogue. And I'm going to be honest, I fully understand this. There's no issues at all with the actions that Kate took over here. Because he's probably just like, fuck this shit. He admitted to closing his comments. I don't even think it's an admission. It's just more like a statement that he closed his comments. And when the community is literally at the point where merely interacting with me is enough to get this much flack, I'm going to be honest, guys. The problem is not with me. The problem is with all of these freaks that you're seeing in here. Because holy fuck. A majority of these comments in here, brother, they're just making everybody look bad. They're making the ZZZ community look bad. They're making their own CCs for ZZZ look bad. They're trying to make me look bad. And of course, the number one person that they're making look bad is themselves. For being this deranged. For having SDS, Saint Derangement Syndrome. Not 7 Deadly Sins. Saint Derangement Syndrome. Because the mere mention of my name, the mere presence of me on the call is enough for them to start seeing red. They get CC'd. They literally get taunted. They charge at me from across the internet, trying to get a hit in, when all we're doing is literally just trying to fix the fucking game. This community has some problems. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to call a creator out that recently has been somebody that's been fueling this kind of dynamic and fueling this kind of narrative. And I feel really pained doing this because Jay Showa, Joshua, Shoeboy, whatever it is, right? I've had close to no interactions with this guy. And I had the unfortunate privilege of finding out what he's been saying about me when all I've ever done, my only interaction with him is rating him on Twitch with like 600, 700 viewers. I rated him with like 600, 700 viewers. He averages like 100. That's all I've ever done for him. And this is what he decided to return the favor with.
Jester, it's like you guys are saying that we're stagnating and the HP and the bosses are going higher and higher and higher. That's exactly the Saint Tontas argument.
That's exactly the Saint Tontas argument. Let's keep listening to what he says.
Bro, why can I use my 1.
First things I want to get straight is that he's incorrectly paraphrasing my argument over here. He's also using a mocking voice. And then he's also, in the post-processing, putting a picture of a clown as he's mocking me, using an incorrectly paraphrased take. What Josh, Joshua, Shoeboy, what he's doing here is just trying to farm this part of the community and tell them, you're thinking this way. You have these concerns.
1.0 builds, my 1.1 build to clear the Miasma Priest. What is this? You guys are using the Saint Tontas argument. I don't think you guys would agree with, but now you guys are like, oh, that's why I disagree with Saint Tontas.
He's basically saying, you guys are feeling this way. You have this take. But just so you know, Saint made this take months ago. So isn't your take actually wrong because Saint made it in the past? And so, what Shoeboy decided to do here, when all I've ever done is fucking raid him, is use my name to invalidate the arguments that his dog shit take on ZZZ's endgame earned him. All you need to see is the dislike ratio on this video. It's fucking terrible. Because the video's bad. His takes are bad. And to defend his bad takes, what he decided to do was say, guys, you guys are arguing against my takes, but remember, it's like what Saint said. Even though it isn't. He incorrectly paraphrased my argument. Saint said something similar to that in the past, so it's actually wrong once you think about it, right? Once I remind you that Saint's the one that said it, you guys realize you're wrong, right? Because Saint said it. Why? Like, what did I do to you? Genuinely, like, what did I do to you for you to do this to me? Basically, use and drive a further wedge in the community just so you can farm on a video that gets a fucking 70% dislike ratio. I rated this guy. I fucking quintupled his CCV for that day. Now I'm beginning to wonder, has he just been doing this for months? Because I rated him months ago. Has he just been putting shit like this in his content the entire fucking time? I don't know. I don't think I'm going to bother with finding out. But I'm just going to be honest. This is a fucking dick move. And I don't know why he would do this. When I've never done anything except help this guy out. Yes, he did. He's had previous videos incorrect, basically bad-mouthing me. Basically spreading misinfo about my takes to basically just farm the good boy points from this part of the community. Where they'll just ignore everything. Drop their baby. For the opportunity to start hating on me. He's trying to farm these guys? Because this is the thing, right? It's no lie at all to say that there's been a meta across ZZZ creators. To just say, Saint bad, and get some subs that way.
Hey
right?
guys.
It's no lie. Wait, what does Rezi sound like?
Hey guys, Rezi here, and
why am I not surprised? It's like there are so many ZZZ CCs who decided to make an entire career off of just putting my face in the thumbnail, and it would get them views, right? Obviously, they're not making any actual points. They're just making shit up once again. And I guess Josh has just been doing that the whole time as well. Shoeboy has just been doing this the whole time as well. And I gotta say, yeah, we won't be raiding this guy anymore. Yeah, we won't be doing any of that nonsense anymore. I actually regret the fact that I even raided this fucking dude in the first place when he's basically just been stabbing me in the fucking back this entire time. Oh, you got proof of the other vids? I don't feel like watching an entire 42-minute vid, but I'm just going to imagine that if he made the takes that he just made over here, yeah, the react is probably equally as bad. I don't really feel like watching it. Maybe you guys can watch it and let me know if it's actually a lot better than what I'm expecting.
Wait, who was the guy that actually brought in the drama? Was it the Santontas?
Because you've inflated the HP so high.
Correct.
And so now they need to go and like start grinding disk drives.
Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh, I have to actually play the game to play the game. Oh. And the bosses are going higher and higher and higher. It's exactly the same tone toss argument. What, bro, why can I use my one?
So I think this alone to me is basically just enough for me to know how he would feel in here. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I'm just going to assume it's similar to this. Because you might say this is like an editor thing. Maybe that means his editor doesn't like me. But, I mean, let's just be real here. He's clearly the reason why his editor put this in the first place. It's just, there's something going on. And I would dare say, if there's anybody that's an active ZZZCC who's trying to farm this, who wants to grow their community with these individuals, and you're thinking that the best way to do that is to just upload another Saint Bad take, or just to upload another Saint Bad point, I'm just going to be honest, guys. I'm just going to be real. I will farm the fuck out of you. I will repeatedly farm the fuck out of you. I will take your clip. I will play part of your video. I'll make another one like this, and then I will expose the actions that you're taking and how pathetic you're actually being as a content creator. Because why don't you go ahead and actually make content that people want to fucking watch, instead of merely trying to use people's dislike for me to make yourself more appealing? Once you realize that's what you're doing, that's a little gross, isn't it? The only way you're growing your channel is through somebody's hate watchers. The second you don't upload a video about me, your channel's done. You got this guy as proof. You got this guy as proof. And it's just so crazy to see somebody this established with 26K subs decide to take lessons from people whose careers will be over by the end of the calendar year. Pathetic. That's the ZZZ situation, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell, I am feeling a little bit upset. Mainly due to the fact that, like, again, I have a tendency to feel really wronged when I'm in a circumstance where I feel like I have never done anything to deserve the reaction from somebody. And when all I've ever done, my only interaction is raiding this guy, and then he treats me like this, yeah, I'm going to be upset. So yeah, that'll be that for this one, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.